Welcome to UnInfluenced. I just Googled man clit since I called Zohan that.
What'd it pull up?
It says the first thing is, do penises have a clitoris?
Really?
The fact that that's the first question. And then the second thing that comes up is off of Urban Dictionary, and it's just the word man clit.
Huh.
Can you read
know.
what Urban Dictionary has to say?
Medically, is there a man clit?
There is research that suggests the female clitoris, that is the cluster of erectile tissue, is in fact a penis. So in other words,
We all been fucking dudes?
if you've been given those down south mouth hugs, you've been sucking dick.
That's fucked up.
You believe that, Johan?
I can't
Brohan?
believe that shit.
Brohan.
Way to really make him be a virgin longer.
Think about that the next time, or if you ever go down on a woman.
Yeah. If you ever do. If you ever make that transition.
From blow-up doll to real woman.
Yeah. Let us know. I don't want to fucking allow you to send me notifications. Fuck you.
So,
So we're going to ask some viewer questions later. I got some other shit. I got to pull it up. Oh, so when I was at the Dodge dealership the other day, I've been dealing with the same dude forever, and this kind of got brought up, and Rohan may know. Oh, Rohan,
Yeah.
don't fucking interrupt us today.
Oh yeah, I saw that comment.
stop laughing.
Yeah, shit ain't funny, you motherfucker. No, but you may have some insight on this because I'm just a Indian cracker. But the guy brought this up. I've known this guy 3 years, I think. Works at a Dodge dealership, but speaks perfect English. Guy walks in the office, and they had some lobster place in there. And he said, oh, he probably don't like lobster because he's from Kenya. What the fuck? He's from Kenya?
Really?
And I was like, oh, man. So when he came out, I was like, you're from Kenya? I thought the dude was bullshit. And he was like, oh, yeah. He said, I was born there, came here when I was 3. You couldn't tell. This dude ain't no weird accent, kind of like old Zohan over there. But he said, you know, a weird problem. He said, the funny thing is the fact that you didn't know that as long as we've known each other. And he said, you'd be surprised at how many people walk up to me, a Hispanic person. He said, even a couple Indian friends, and ask, where are you from? Bitch, I'm from America right now.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
And so how common is that, Zohan, that you get white people walking up? Where are you from?
Oh,
Instead of, what's your name?
very, very, very common. Very common.
I get asked where I'm from often.
Yeah, but you just sound fucked up.
I mean, I don't know. To me, I guess it's just one of those things where no different than if I went to India, like
Yeah.
as a racial minority, right? People are going to, I think, naturally be like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Yeah, and while I actually don't agree with that, but
Is that right? Well, tell me about it.
Yeah.
well,
I've been to a lot of fucking, how many times
Oh,
you
yeah.
been back to India? Back to India. How many times you been to India?
twice.
Twice? At what age?
One, I can't remember the trip because I was like fucking 3.
Okay, so that doesn't count.
No, and one when I was like 7.
All right, so that doesn't really count either. I mean, I've been to fucking dozens of countries, and I can tell you, in most of them, I get asked, where the fuck are you from? Or where are you guys from?
Yeah, but one thing that, for at least that I've encountered, is I'll say, oh, I'm from America. Because again, I was born here. I was born in fucking New Haven, Connecticut.
So just say Connecticut.
Yeah.
No, I do, but then
Connecticut,
it's the so where are you really from?
Yeah.
I go, shit, I'm fucking an American.
So then I would say
American-born
Connecticut.
citizen.
Yeah. Born in America.
That's what I
Where you
do.
from? Connecticut.
Where are you really from? though?
I mean, you know, to me, like I said, that's one of those things where it seems like people bitch about it, you know, or they would even attach the term like racism to that. Like, oh, that's racist. Like, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
You know, like it's being inquisitive about something that, you know, again, like if me as a white guy is in a country where most of the people are not white, people are naturally going to ask where I'm from.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that way everywhere. You know, I don't know why that seems like it's such a fucking shocker to people, but.
I mean, I don't think it's racism. I mean, I think I've told you guys about the story in Arkansas when I was filling up gas, but that was just fucking racist.
Doing what?
I was filling up gas in Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't think did I hear this story?
No, he was telling me one day.
Oh, would you like to know?
You can't say the whole word.
No, I can't.
You
I know.
got called.
I know. So I was just filling up gas, and I was in a really kind of a shitty place in Arkansas. Just filling up gas, mind my own business, and from across the parking lot, some guy yells, "Sand!" And then, the word.
Yeah.
And I yell, "What'd you just call me?" He goes, "Yeah, you sand." Beep. And
He's
so
beefing himself up.
and then I yell back, "Hey, I'm not a sand. I'm a curry muncher. Get it right, you pretentious asshole." And he burst out laughing, and it's one of the first and probably only times I will ever make a genuinely racist laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Even the talk with those guys, because he was from Kenya and the other dude is from Good Times, JJ. And hell, that should be more racist than anything. I told him dude looks like JJ from Good Times because he really does.
But I mean, so here's one of those things again, like words that get misused, you know, and thrown out there a lot. Is the term racism is one of the worst. Mm-hmm. What's interesting, there was a clip. I think it was actually on Bill Maher, which I don't know what it is about that guy lately that seems to.
He woke up.
Well, I mean, what's scary is that he's like almost conservative at this point. That's how far left some of this country has gone, where Bill Maher, who used to be a bleeding fucking liberal, now is center right on a lot of things. At any rate, the gist of it was that, you know, people need to stop taking words and making them mean something that they don't, which I've been saying for a long time.
Yeah.
Specifically racism is that, you know, the textbook definition is to place the supremacy of one race over all others, right? So even if you call somebody a racial slur that's derogatory, that is textbook, not racism.
Yeah.
You know, it's a racial slur. It doesn't mean that it's acceptable, but I do think it's important to point out that, like, so many things are called racist. John Gruden, the Raiders coach, just lost his job for saying racially insensitive things in an email that was from like 10 or 11 years ago, right? But all over the news, it was, you know, he had racist remarks. There were nothing racist about his remarks. They were racially insensitive. But I also think there's an interesting element to it, in that, you know, what he said was something to the effect of a guy's, I think he said his lips were the size of tires or something like that, you know, in an email. And, you know, everybody was, you know, calling for his head and you know, saying he should lose his job and all this other shit. And all of that stuff separate is that, you know, if I don't know how there's not some sort of underlying inherent assumption of racial stereotyping on the person who's offended if you're offended by that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, is that if you assume that that's a stereotype, then aren't you in fact falling into the stereotype? Like, I mean, maybe I'm fucking crazy, but, you know, to me it's the same thing as like voter ID laws being racist. Like, to me, if you think that a group of racial minorities are incapable of getting a fucking ID on their own, that's as underhandedly racist as anything. You know, I mean, that is more of an actual form of racism in assuming that this group of people is incapable of voting without my help. Yeah. Like, that is fucking racist. You know, I don't know how these things get so twisted around, you know, to where, you know, people have such crazy outrage over certain things and don't give a flying fuck about others. Just, it's fucking mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. We had literally, I think it was Friday. It was probably an hour-long conversation of us talking about racism and all that stuff, because they started watching our show and they were like, "Man, we love what you said about Chappelle and all that stuff." And I mean, to me, that's the dude's trying to break a wall and people aren't catching what he's doing. Yeah. Instead, they're trying to force it as he hates these people. Yeah. It's like, come on, man. And then that's where it all came into, you know, do you think that's racist, the walking up, you know, and where are you from? And kind of like you, and even they agree, they're just curious, where are you from? And he asked me later on, he said, "I've never asked you, where are you from?" I said, mainly, I guess I would be Texas, because I've lived here since I was 8. But I've lived in Germany and all these other stupid ass places, and hell, I'm from Texas. I was born in Manassas, Virginia. The most fucked up.
With the ass back in Manassas.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. You can go way back to, I think it was episode 5, where we talked about the power of a word and people using one word, taking that word, and they make it powerful. You want to make it less powerful, just shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah. I mean, no, I know it. I mean,
yeah.
There's a neat interview with Morgan Freeman, of all people, that a reporter asked him, how do we end racism in this country? And his simple response was, stop fucking talking about it.
I loved that interview.
I mean, it's a great interview, especially from a guy like that who's old enough to have been around to seen real racism and oppression. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist in certain pockets, but there's two things. It's by comparison, we've come a really, really long way as a country. In some cases, we've made overcorrections, which leads into my second point, is that it can go both ways. The excuse or statement that, any group of minorities or any group of a minority does not have the power to be racist, I think is bullshit, because racism is an idea.
Yeah.
It's an idea that that one race of people is above the others. But to me, it's frustrating to see such hang-ups on things that I think ultimately hold us back from getting where we want to be. But
yeah, and that's me texting Mike stories for the questions you.
I saw that actually just before I came here. I was all pissed off about it. Yeah. Anyway, moving along. What are the two key components for canine success? That's effective training and proper nutrition. Fueled by Team Dog brings those two components to your family and best friend. The perfect nutritional balance that results in a higher mental acuity, energy, overall vitality, and even an improved appearance. Every product you will find in my company's store was born from the battlefield and not from the boardroom. Let my life's work help you become your dog's hero.
Yeah. We're going to get into some questions from listeners, viewers, and all that. And before you ask, for those of you that have posted on YouTube, we're going to cater to the Patreon people today. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 questions.
Are they all asking me to shut the fuck up?
No,
that's not a bad question.
Yeah, that's just 10 of them.
That's a great question.
That's just 10 of them.
Will Rohan shut the fuck up?
Yeah. Will he shut his man taster? The answer to that is probably not.
Yeah.
But the good thing is we'll just start finding him for cutting us off.
For opening his female cock gobbler.
Yes. I like it.
That's right.
Okay. The surprising thing is Brandon Cantrell, no questions.
That it's got to be a misprint.
That's what I said. I even texted him, are you okay? You need help?
Is he still alive?
Barely. It's a struggle.
Motherfuckers hanging on by a thread after Halloween.
Yeah.
Did you dress up, Zohan?
I did. I dressed up for my work, and then I fell sick Saturday. But it was just allergies, and then I was fine Sunday.
Who says they fell sick? That's like some shit some 90-year-old woman named Edith would say. I fell ill.
Yeah, I fell ill.
You fell? What did you dress up as at work?
I was so my team, they all dressed up like the guys were sorority girls. The two girls were frat guys, and I was their pledge. So I basically just had to wear a suit and tie with a camera to work.
So you were a college cuck. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So hold on.
I was a fucking weirdo.
I want to go back, rewind for a second. All the guys.
Yep. All the guys on my team except for me.
Dressed up like girls.
Dressed up like sorority girls. Yep.
And both girls and
girls
you dressed up like sorority guys.
No, like frat guys.
That's really fucking weird.
Again, why would you got classed with the chicks to dress up like a dude?
I mean, even Halloween, they're fucking painting the picture. Why would you agree to that?
Well, I mean, hey, if the entire team says, hey, this is what we're doing.
No. I mean, you don't have to be a team player with shit like that. If they're all like, hey, we're going to go run kids over in traffic outside of this elementary school. Like, well, the team's doing it, so I guess I'll join in.
That's
I don't know, or maybe you would.
Things.
I don't know.
No, I would not.
Okay. Well,
I'm glad you have absolutely no confidence in me, Mike.
I'm starting to wonder is the thing, is that you're willing to go along with some pretty squirrely shit. And, where is the line? That's what I think that's where we're trying to come from.
Yeah, I mean, you basically got classed as a bitch.
Fucking wild.
When you put it fucking like that,
Yeah, well, that's how it is. It's not putting it anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just not putting it a certain way.
But my plan for another party was to
go as a dude.
Should have gone as fucking Iron Man, honestly, and punch people in the face with steel hands.
Yeah.
Be like, say it again.
I was gonna put the microphone back on my camera and then wear like a Pornhub hat with jeans.
That would have been better.
T-shirt, and then I can't go to work like that.
The fuck you can't? It's Halloween. That's the one day you can go like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I would be.
I mean, I noticed that last night, right? I was walking around a neighborhood at dusk with coveralls, work boots, a Mike Myers hat, and a real fucking kookery machete. What other fucking day of the year could you do that and not get fucking shot and or arrested? No day.
Yeah.
Any other fucking day, like especially here in Texas, you are getting lit the fuck up walking around doing shit like that.
You know, I love Halloween. It's the best time that I can go on Instagram and show my look at this chick's outfit.
I can certainly appreciate the prosta costume. Is that a word? Mm-hmm. Just like the hooker outfits that chicks wear, but the ones that have business wearing it. You know, like to me, it's cool that there's one day out of the year that chicks with fucking bodies that are accommodating for that kind of stuff actually show it off and put some time into it, and it's fun. Like I just, to me, Halloween's a cool fucking holiday.
Yeah, I saw one chick, big bitch, and I thought she was dressed up like the Michelin Man, but she was dressed up like a porn star.
That's awesome.
But she just looked like a busted ass.
The Lane Bryant porn star.
Yes.
He doesn't even know what the fuck that is.
No, he don't know
I do actually.
Yeah,
thanks,
right.
though.
You shouldn't know what that is.
Them chicks didn't tell me anything cool like that. Okay.
All right. Questions.
Surprisingly, Brandon had no questions, so that's the weirdest question of all. Scott Williams has 2. How did you guys meet? And there's 2 ways to look at this. We met one time and didn't realize we met, and then we actually met at a car meet an hour away. Matter of fact, where dipshit over there works.
Wait, so it wasn't a gay orgy? I swore I thought you guys met at a gay orgy.
Yeah. First off,
have you ever been taped up or tied up by fucking speaker wire? You ever had that experience?
Yeah. That dude hasn't even had any sex and over there talking shit.
You wish it was a gay orgy.
Yeah. We met at
the first time we ever came across each other, and I mean that literally, Zohan, came across one another.
Yeah. Yeah, we were racing.
Yeah.
Yep, racing, and I don't think we met for almost another 8 months or so.
Yeah, or probably even close to a year.
Who won that race?
It was back and forth. We raced for a good 3 miles back up and down.
Yeah, I mean it was probably probably 3-4 miles. It was an E6, a tuned E63S against a tuned X6M. It was a competition.
Yeah,
X6M competition. So very similar cars, very similar power output and all that. It was actually neat looking back on it. There were times where he'd rip ahead. There's times where I would. It just it depended. But so both good cars for what they are, and pretty evenly matched. But we got to a certain point where there was a long, flat, straight stretch of road, no other cars, and that stretch is probably better part of a mile. It's probably almost a mile of just a perfect spot to do it because it's 4-lane, 2-way with a big median in between, and we gun it, and then all of a sudden I see him fucking hit the brakes, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden the cherries light up. I got pulled the fuck over, and he scooted on home. So
yeah,
that's how that happened.
Mm-hmm. Then the next time we met was pretty close to a year later at Cars and Coffee down in Southlake at where you work. Mm-hmm. And we sat there and bullshit about cars for a good hour. I think it was damn near another year before we realized that was us racing each other.
Yeah, it was a long time before we figured that out, which is funny. But it was just he had a RSQ8 that it was almost the exact same spec that I had ordered, but they told me it'd be like 6 to 8 months before I would get it in, and he was at the show with it, and I was just like, hey, is that your fucking Audi? And he's like, yeah. I said, how the fuck did you get that? And that's how it started, and then 20, 30 minutes later, it was like, yeah, if you ever want to drive it, I live all the way in. I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, after after we found out that we, lived close to each other, and then, the specific areas where we lived, it's like, dude, you live fucking 2 minutes away. So
literally, we have walkie-talkies that we could bullshit over the walkie-talkies and save cell time. Mm-hmm. It's nutty as hell. I want to get a drone again, see if I can fly it to your house.
Oh, for sure you can.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll send the red-tailed hawk to take it down.
Dropping shit in your yard and taking back.
Amazon style.
Hell yeah, that would be badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we met, and then we ain't been able to shake each other ever since.
That's right.
Then Scott's next question, a lot of you two-part question asking motherfuckers. Is there more to the vaccine mandates than, in quotation, personal health? I don't know if you're asking, do we not want to take it for personal health or the community? I'm not taking it. I don't feel I need to, and I don't feel somebody should tell me what I should and shouldn't take. So fuck them. Yeah,
on a broader scale, yes, I think there is more to it than that. I think there's a lot more to it from the kind of the national or even global perspective, which, I mean, that's an hour-long conversation in and of itself. But yes, I do believe there's way more to it than that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a control thing.
Yeah, I think it's mostly compliance. There's some politics mixed in, as well as corporate greed. Two of the top 10 companies that all of Congress on a personal side are invested in is Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer. So I don't think that that's an accident. But for me personally, I would say there isn't any more to it than that. I don't care politically or mandate-wise or otherwise. For me, it's very simply is that, the group of susceptible persons that I'm in is very, very stark. I have a 99.7% chance of surviving it should I get it. Coupled with the fact that getting it doesn't keep you from contracting it and doesn't keep you from transmitting it. So for me, there's just no reason to take it, and it's just that simple. It doesn't have anything to do with Biden telling me to do it. Even if everything was the same, but you just replaced the mortality rate being, say, 40%, or, at least in the 2-digit percent, like, hey, there's a 20% chance, a 10% chance, I'd consider it more than I do with a 0.3% chance. But most importantly for me, it doesn't keep you from getting it, and it doesn't keep you from transmitting it. So when you combine all of those things, for me, it's just a hard no, and it's that simple. Mm-hmm. If it was 40% and it kept you from getting it and transmitting it, I would get the vaccine. So for me, yes, that's really all it's about.
Yeah, and me, I don't do what anybody tells me to do. If you tell me whatever you do, don't get the vaccine, I'll go get the vaccine.
Yeah. For me, that honestly is as hard as it may be for people to believe. It has nothing to do with it.
I'm just an asshole.
Like if it was mandated, or things were the same or not, or whatever. To me, it all boils down to the statistics behind
science. It. Me and my wife's uncle were talking about that this weekend, and they're from Florida, which is the closest state you can get to Texas, to where they fucking don't give a shit about it as bad as we don't give a shit about it. He's just like, it's silly. He asked me, is it a vaccine if I got to go get a booster all the time?
It's not.
Yeah, at this point, it's not a vaccine.
Well,
it's a flu shot.
Yeah, I mean, at no point technically has it ever been a vaccine. Yeah. It's been was it rDNA modifier? Mm-hmm. So it's not a vaccine, and it never has been. It is. It's a shot. Yep. But the interesting thing about Florida is, again, if you look at the data, is that they went from being one of the highest cases per day per capita states in the United States, may have even been the highest, in the top handful for sure, to the absolute lowest, right? And they have absolutely no vaccine mandates, they have no mask mandates, and they have absolutely zero closures statewide. Right. And in a 2-month period went from highest to lowest when they said we're skipping everything. We're not mandating a fucking thing, and everything is open for business. And all of their cases went from worst to best. Mm-hmm. So that's not anecdotal. I mean, it's one state, but there's tens of millions of fucking people in that state. So that's not like, comparing it to another country that there's all these other factors, healthcare system wise, population, et cetera. This is, one of the bigger populated states in the country, who made a very stark 180 contrast of what their mandate policy was. And you see what the aftermath. California, on the other hand, and New York both remain in the top in terms of infectious cases. And they also have the strictest fucking mandates and mask and vaccine policies, business closure policies of all the states in the entire country. So to me, that tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, and they're douchebags. Yeah.
And they're fucking douchebags. But.
Exactly. Not everybody. I mean, the residents aren't all douchebags. Brandon is. But Randy's a douchebag. But the rest, they're pretty cool. So, Dollface, let's get into her question. And I'm going to get on to her ass a little bit about this after I ask it. Do either of you guys have personal experience with the Pagani Huayra? It's my ultimate dream car, and I wanted to see if you drove in one, and what is your thoughts? Now, I'm going to say, bitch, you need to start listening to the show. No, we've talked about the Pagani a couple times, and it's a great car. It's got a lot of artistry to it. Would I own one? No. Would I drive one? Again, you give me damn near anything, and I'll drive the shit out of it. Like, if you want to know, will your car break? Bring it to me. Because I guarantee if it can break, I'll break it. The Pagani, to me, it's a beautiful car. It's a work of art. They had to use a Mercedes engine in it, and there's a ton of stuff about it that I don't like, but I love the artistry of the car. It's a great car, great specs, but then again, you rarely see anybody drive one like they're built to be driven.
I've never seen anybody drive one other than very carefully from their garage to a car meet.
Yeah. Now, you give one of us to it,
yeah,
that bitch will need new tires in 2,000 miles.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to take one, on the 45-minute house to meet run and really put it through its paces once it's broken in properly and give it a fair shake and see how it drives. That to me, that's the only way to really tell for what it costs and what it is. I think we talked about this on the last episode, actually.
That's why I'm telling her. Yeah. She needs to listen.
You need to take your right hand, reach back, pull your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's too much for me to want to spend on a car for what it is. But
yeah, it is a work of art.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. I respect the engineering, but that's as far as it goes. I've never sat in one, never driven one. But
I don't think I've sat in one either.
I haven't sat in one, but I have driven one. Drove.
I've driven one on the computer.
Yeah,
drove the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I know of some problems with them and stuff like that, but great car. Is it my dream car? No. Am I saying you have a stupid dream? No. I think if you can get to a Pagani Huayra status, congratulations and get one.
Yeah.
If it's your dream car. Me, I personally wouldn't get one. I'd go buy a bunch of other shit and run them into each other.
I'd get that well before.
Fuck yes.
That's the Bugatti.
I look at it.
Yeah, it's a bad fucking car. I mean, it looks good.
And it's in the automotive group that we both fucking love.
Yeah. Vag.
Yeah. Vag. I'm going to wait to get into this one. David, forgive me, but I cannot pronounce your last name. It's Dieuggenio.
Yeah, it's
David D. We're going to wait.
Double D.
We're going to wait and ask your question towards the end. Whitney Donahue is going to ask a question. What parenting advice do you have for raising a kid, and parentheses, specifically a girl, in this crazy world we live in now? How do you raise them not to be entitled assholes while still wanting to give them more better than you had growing up? I went through this. You're going through it. Mm-hmm. I went through it. Maybe going through it again here pretty soon. I'll let you know in a couple months. A girl. So I have a daughter. She's 24 years old. My daughter had to earn her stuff, but she was still, I wouldn't say entitled. She knew I busted my ass to get her what she needed, and I bribed her. I'm not going to lie. to get what I wanted out of her and what I wanted her to have a better life, she had to have certain grades. If she wanted, when she graduated, she got a Mercedes. I think that's what I got her when she graduated high school. She got a Mercedes. Not top of the line. It was the CLA. Still a nice car. She got one brand new. But the deal was she couldn't ever drop below a B. She couldn't just start missing days at school. She had to do all kinds of crap that looked good on college, you know, because basically I'm looking at it as that Mercedes is a cheap investment if this girl gets a scholarship. Mm-hmm. She didn't get a scholarship, God damn it. But she did do good. She kept up her end of the deal. And my deal was, okay, cool. Now you go to college, you graduate with a college degree and something you want to do. I don't care what it is. I don't give a shit what it is. It can be in cooking, but go get a degree in something you want to do for a living. Yep. And I'll buy you another car. And I did. I can't remember what the hell that car was, though.
It's a BMW?
No, she bought that on her own. Yeah. I can't remember what it was now, honestly. It wasn't her Mustang. She got that when she was 16. Anyways, the girl got 5 brand new cars, but they were bribery type deals. And it was to make sure she hit the goals. My daughter was very smart. But there were times where she would test me. She'd test me. She'd test her mother. And to me, you got to be, even if I didn't agree with my wife at the time on the punishment, I would never say it in front of my daughter. I would never sit there and be like, bitch, you're crazy. I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't want it like anybody. If I'm arguing with her about, hey, what you're telling her is total bullshit, I'd let her go about her way, do her thing, and then when we're away from my daughter, be like, hey, you fucked up. That's wrong. You shouldn't have done that. And let her fix the situation. If you step in and start fighting as parents, you just showed them a wedge that they could use every time. Now, that's just my personal experience. Every experience is different with every kid because all these little fuckers are different. Don't let them get away with shit. Don't give it to them. My daughter got spanked 2 or 3 times, but she knew those 2 or 3 things she did, never to do it again. She wouldn't get spanked. That was it. Grounded. I took all her motherfucking toys one time. But here's what I did. You can't play with these. And I went and lined them bitches up like it was Christmas. Like they were playing with each other, doing cool shit, but she couldn't touch them. Yeah. They weren't hurt. I remember hearing this, and it was heartbreaking and funny at the same time. Her and her little friend are in the room, and he's the little boy that she grew up with, and I hear, hey, don't touch that. I'm grounded from my toys. We can't play with that. Put it up. Yeah, so, I mean, other than that, I mean, you gotta, it's an entitled world we live in, but you can still be strict yet still a good parent without being a total fucking asshole.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Very similarly, I think, what I would say is realize that you're not going to be perfect and don't expect to be. Like, you're going to make mistakes and you have to be okay with that. Obviously, the goal is to make as few as possible. And I think the easiest way to make as few as possible is to have an ideal in your mind of what you want the finished product to look like. No different than starting a business, trying to get into good shape, becoming a 5-star fucking chef. I mean, whatever it is it know what that end product really needs to look like, and be more specific than I just want a kid that's not entitled. Like, think through, what level of manners do you want? What level of responsibility? How much autonomy do you want to give them in terms of, curfews and what you allow them to do or not do or whatever, and really think long and hard about those things. And last but not least, the 2 components to that is consistency is everything. You have got to fucking be consistent, even when it sucks, even when it's inconvenient, even when it does hurt you more than it hurts them, even though it sucks for them, it's painful for you. Like, you have to be consistent with it. And then I would say now, last but not least, is set the example yourself to the best of your ability. Nobody's going to do it perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Like I said, God knows I've made plenty of them. Every parent has. Mm-hmm. But do your best to be what you want them to be, because past about 4 or 5 years old, they're going to see right through the because I fucking told you to do it and I'm your parent. That flies until they're about 5. and then they're just going to resent you for doing shit that you don't let them do within reason. Obviously, no drinking alcohol or driving a fucking vehicle. I mean, there's certain things that I think are kind of no-brainers that go without saying, but that's really the key. I mean, like with what Matt said, I don't view that as bribing. I view that as positive reinforcement, and that's not nuanced. I think there's a big difference in that if you're incentivizing your kid to do something and then they're rewarded for doing what you want them to do, that teaches them that if you work hard, you get what you want most of the time. Let them fail is another important component, is that, don't be that parent that's a helicopter parent that makes sure that their homework is always fucking done right. And, they got a B+, so let me go talk to the teacher and see if we can retake it. Don't do that shit. Do not fucking do that shit. Let them make mistakes. Let them fail. Show them that you trust their judgment enough, because if you've done your job as a parent, you shouldn't need to micromanage every fucking little decision that they make, and give them that autonomy to make the wrong choice so that they can learn, hey, my actions have fucking consequences, and mom and dad aren't going to be here to make sure I do the right thing every single fucking time. Now, with that, you've got to be careful, and you can't just, you want to smoke weed? Yeah, go ahead. You want to take the car and a bottle of fucking Jack Daniels? Yeah, I'm not going to stop you. You can do what you want. No, but be calculated in letting them do the wrong thing. I mean, there's times where I'll have those types of conversations where I'll say, what do you think the right call is? And they'll say this, and this. And I'll say, I don't agree with that. I think that's the wrong thing. But if you think that that's your best bet, I'm going to let you do that. Like, you think you're ready for the test tomorrow. Okay. If you think you're ready and you don't need to study, no problem. I'm not going to make you study. If you fail, it's on you. Little things like that, where you allow them to make those mistakes. If they are, sometimes they'll surprise you, where you think, they'll fuck something up because they half-assed it and they pull it off, and that's fine. I mean, that's how life is. But give them the opportunity to fail and learn from it in conjunction with all the other shit. But
yeah. Well, he said, yeah, definitely let them fail. And that helicopter parent, that's 100%. But be in your kid's life. That's one thing of advice I can always give. If you have the opportunity, be in as much of their life as you possibly can. Because as someone who worked way more than I should have, I look back at that shit with a little bit of regret.
Yeah. I agree. But similarly, though, I think it's important to give your kids some space too. Mm-hmm. There's, like with everything in life, there is a balance. There's a happy medium to all of it, and I think you can spend too much time with them, to where they're too dependent on you and they count on you too much for, guidance and entertainment and fucking engagement and all these things. Like, yeah, spend time with them, be there, be present. But let them have friends, let them have some alone time, let them figure shit out on their own sometimes and self-entertain and things like that. Or they're going to look at you like, a welfare recipient looks at the fucking government, like, mm-hmm. And that is a huge part of entitlement. And I think, that's one of those key concepts that I think as a society, we've really gotten off track, with child rearing in the last couple of decades is that thinking that, kind of the road to hell is paved with good intentions, is that I think I'm doing right by my kids. You see that with dogs a lot too, is that spoiling them is doing right by them. And one of the parts of your question, what's her name? Whitney. One of the parts of your question, Whitney, is, giving them better than what I had. Why do they need better than what you had? Unless you grew up in a fucking cardboard box, they don't necessarily need better. Give them the opportunities that you want them to have, but that doesn't mean that they need to have, fucking every new Xbox that comes out and fucking Yeezy shoes and Lululemon everything and all of that shit that doesn't fucking matter. That is what's going to make them entitled, is if they get the impression that you're trying to give them every single fucking thing that they want and all the things that you couldn't have and all of that. What's going to shape their childhood much better than stuff that you didn't have are experiences. So the more experiences you can give them, camping, hiking, traveling, teaching them things, learning new things with them, something you don't know, you and your kid go learn something together. Shit like that is what's going to make the difference when they grow up and have a valued childhood versus just stuff. Because there are a lot of spoiled ass entitled little shitheads that can't stand their parents that spoiled them rotten, and have more than most fucking adults have ever had in their life, and they're miserable little pricks because of it. So,
yeah, what he said.
Yeah.
This time. Yeah, and every now and then, since you're a female and you're talking about daughters, Whitney, if you happen to drop a sock in front of them while you're doing laundry and they're being really bad and you just come up real fast with an elbow to the chin, I mean, that shit just happens. I'm just kidding. Don't beat your kids. Whitney had another question. It's a dog question, and I'm not going to be able to help you one fucking bit because my dogs are the devils. Dog question. We have 2 female 9-year-old boxer / husky litter mates. One is laid back, and the other one is an anxious nightmare. We haven't had a problem with chewing or getting into things since they were puppies. We just moved, and now all of a sudden, the anxious one has been chewing things up and getting into everything. Barks at everything and nothing, and cries all day. She has always been great with our kids and has always hated other kids, but now she seems... Shit, my eyes just fucked up. Jittery around even our kids if they're in her space.
This is the 9-year-old?
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess they're both 9.
Okay.
9-year-old, yeah. If they're in her space, too much, but at the same time is still very protective over them. What do we do?
All right, so I'm going to keep this really short and sweet because ultimately I don't want to hijack the podcast on a bunch of dog training advice when you can just go to teamdog.pet, sign up for $12 a fucking month, and you can ask these questions in the forum there, and I answer them every Monday, which is also beneficial for all the rest of the members too. So I encourage you to do that. In short, when dogs get to a certain age, just like with people, sometimes they start to lose it a little bit. Not necessarily the case. It's impossible to know without an evaluation, but really anytime that there's a behavioral issue, I always recommend what I call a hard reset, which is crating, structure through crating, feeding through training, reinforcing all of the shaped behaviors that you want to have as a desired behavior, and then providing consistent consequences for the undesirable behaviors. And you can only do that with a really, really structured environment through crating and then feeding through training, but it's all in the videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one of our sponsors too, is Team Dog.
That's right. Get you some Team Dog.
Yeah, get you some of that. That's some good stuff. It's all my dogs eat. Speaking of which, my wife, aunt and uncle were in town. You met the uncle. You didn't meet the aunt. They have a dog, very sensitive stomach. And she was reading some of the treats. And she was like, I think my dog can eat this. I said, thanks, ass. Take him and see if he can. Let us know.
That's awesome.
If he's that sensitive, like they're feeding him raw rabbit and shit like that.
Yeah.
Said if he's that sensitive and he can take those, let us know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, experiment with your dogs. Have they tried cocaine? I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Glenn's got a really long fucked up question. Fucking Glenn Gill. You're in charge of music for your own 3-band, 3-keg, 3 buckets. Yeah, I'm that. And then parentheses again. Yeah, I'm that old to throw parties that cheap. Basically, any artist, any band from the last 50 years are options. Who are you booking? By the way, I know Mike is a Cornell fan. Check out the pipes on a girl in the band, Brass Against.
Brass Against?
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of odd rock plus horns. Covers a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
I like them a lot.
Brass Against?
Yeah.
All right. I'll check it out.
She's easy on the eyes and great voice.
All right. I'll check it.
Yeah.
So the question is 3 bands?
Yeah, 3 bands, 3 kegs, $3.
What's the $3?
I guess all you get is $3 to do all this shit.
I mean, that ain't buying shit.
No, I'm gonna go buy $3 worth of condoms and hope they stick.
So 3 different types of beer and 3 different types of bands. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm getting out of it.
Okay.
And he's old as fuck. I got that out of it too.
Yeah. So for bands, it's easy. Well, I'll do beer first because that's even easier. Miller Lite. I fucking love Miller Lite. Guinness, because I also love Guinness. And some sort of fucking fruity, crazy-ass IPA that has like 20% alcohol. just because it's super high potency. I don't give a fuck what the flavor is. I just want it to jack people up.
Yeah, get the bitches.
3 bands, Pantera, Led Zeppelin.
Hell yeah.
And then I think the third, I probably would do, it'd be a toss-up between Rage Against the Machine, who is actually going out and touring again, I think, and Soundgarden in their heyday. But that would probably be my 6, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the $3 thing is, but
I don't know what the $3 is either. Yeah, that's weird. 3 bands for me depends on how crazy you want the party. Like if you want people fighting, I'm going Tupac, Biggie, and Insane Clown Posse. That way shit just gets wild as fuck. No, I mean, I like Metallica. Bring Ozzy out there. That'd be some good shit. And then, I'm brain farting on that band that Fred Durst was in.
Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, they fucking bring the house down, man.
Yeah.
Those guys are legit live.
Yeah,
they put on a hell of a show.
I like the shit out of them. And then beer, Bud Light. Take it back to the old school, go Natty Light. And then...
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hell yes.
PBR me ASAP.
Yeah. And then I'd want to do that placebo effect and get some of that non-alcoholic duels, a keg of it.
Watch people get fucked up on non-alcoholic.
People just be fucked up on that. See, I throw fucked up shit. I like to see mayhem. I mean, it's just more fun that way. And then towards the end, when you got that one really fucked up dude talking about, bro, you've been drinking non-alcoholic all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's me. What about you? First off, I'd go with Bollywood, blah, blah, blah.
Bollywood IPA.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only 18, so I can't drink.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I haven't tasted. I don't know what
Pretend
beer
you
tastes like,
can. Because you know you have.
No, I haven't tasted beer.
Well, it's
Or
not the
vagina.
only type of alcohol. Or
Yeah.
vagina.
But for the 3 bands, which is it's a tough question because I like a lot of them, but AC/DC is definitely one.
Nice.
Bon Jovi is definitely another. And then the last one, there's so many, but it's probably going to have to be like Queen, Prince, Michael Jackson, someone from that type of genre and era of music, but probably one of those fucks.
So you're a bit of an old soul music-wise.
Yeah.
That's pretty, that's interesting. But that, it also, I think, speaks to there's been a few times where we've talked about how shitty music is now, and in the last like 10 years, especially, like nothing really that great has come out. And I think, I still listen to shit from back in the 80s, 70s and 80s because it's just better music.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Well, I do like a lot of the like indie rock from the 90s, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
More, Rage Against the Machine. I like them a lot. I do like Post Malone. I know he kind of takes a lot of elements from different genres. So I do enjoy that quite a bit. There's a band, like not a small group, but a quote unquote smaller group called Lany, Lany, that I kind of enjoy. They're kind of more of like a smooth rock type thing.
Yeah. I think Post
yeah.
is still an artist though, which is rare nowadays.
Yeah.
For some of these people aren't artists. They're using, all that digital bullshit.
Auto-tuned and
Yeah,
shit.
the auto-tune shit. Me, I'm really weird when I ride in the car, especially when we're going fast. I can tune out the vocal part of a song and just hear the music, the beat of a song. And I never realized how close we were that way till we were comparing the radios in the 2 cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I'm digging the beat on this. And, and to me, that's all it is. It's beat and background. So it just gets me going. It pumps me up. But when I'm listening to music, I want to be able to tell what the fuck's going on and be like, that motherfucker just hit Control-Alt-4 or whatever and motherfucking auto-tune some shit.
Yeah.
I want to hear them people sing
Yeah.
and do shit. Mm-hmm. You don't hear that no more.
Yeah, the artistry component of music has largely been lost. Especially like if you listen to Sirius satellite radio, the difference between channel 37 Octane, which is like new alternative fucking rock, whatever, versus channel 41, which is like 90s and early 2000s, metal and rock and alternative and whatever. It's just night and fucking day. And, almost any song that comes on Octane at this point, they kind of all sound the same, and you don't have any fucking idea who they are. They all sound the same. They all have some weird fucking name. like Ice Nine Kills and fucking, I can't think of, they're all just very generic that way, and they all sound, again, the same. Like in the 90s, if Nirvana came on, you knew it was Nirvana fucking now.
Yeah.
Soundgarden came on, you knew it was Soundgarden. Fucking Rage Against the Machine. I mean, whoever it was, you knew immediately, oh, this is this band, because they had a very specific and significant personal or personality to their music, you know, and that just doesn't fucking exist anymore.
No, it's so washed out now.
Yeah, I mean, it's all digitized and fucking, you know, it's just terrible.
Yeah, artists aren't artists. They can't even. Most of them can't even play an instrument anymore.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on country music?
So this may surprise people. I largely really dislike country music. There's very, very little of it that I can stand. And the little bit that I can stand, most people wouldn't even consider it country. They would consider it like pop country or whatever. And even that, like, I wouldn't necessarily say I like it. It's just, it's catchy enough for me to tolerate it. I just don't like it. It's fucking...
I'm interested in knowing those. Which ones are they?
I mean, I couldn't even tell you. Excuse me.
He's like Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, I mean...
They're pretty good.
Like there's a handful of catchy, popular songs that I don't mind, you know, and I couldn't even name them. It's just that when I've heard them, they have that, again, it's very manufactured. Like you hear a lot of them talk, and it kind of reminds you of like British people when they sing. You don't hear the accent. It's like the opposite of that. It's like they sing with this super thick, manufactured Southern twang draw that's total bullshit. And then when you hear them talk, they sound like me.
Yeah, they got skinny jeans and shit on.
You know, so, but I mean, here's my take on that. Like, I don't give a fuck because I'm not a country guy, so I don't take that as a personal insult the way a country fan would. I don't give a fuck, you know, so, you know, do you, however you want. But, yeah, for me, it's depressing. And, like most of it has that like sad, melancholy ballad kind of fucking feel to it that just, I'm just like, God damn, I just would never want to listen to this. It just, it bums me the fuck out.
I listen to some of it because that's what my wife likes to listen to.
Yeah.
What's weird, she'll go from that and Yellow Claw Radio, which is fucking techno as fuck. So you're listening to fucking Sam Hunt, and then the next thing you know, it's fucking, you're sitting there with a fucking glow stick. It's like, damn.
Getting after it.
So, yeah, some of the country people I'll give them props though. They're still really singing, some of them. So I'll give them that, but the beat of the song, again, I like to hear the beat of something going on, like old school guitars and fucking drums and basses and shit. Fucking
for me, most of the time, with very rare exception, I like music that gets me fucking fired up, and that's whether it's metal, alternative, grunge, fucking, you know, pop country, fucking rap, whatever. Like I like songs that fire me up and you know, that are good to work out to or to drive fast to or you know, what have you. That's just mostly the type of music I like. I will say, this is more blues for sure. But one of my favorite artists of all time is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh yeah.
Especially when there's one cover in particular when he covers Voodoo Child, and it was one at Austin City Limits. Watching that fucking guy play the guitar the way that he could was just, I mean, once in a lifetime kind of talent for sure. You know, just an absolute fucking genius and master on a guitar, and especially with that cover at that venue. He's covered it a lot and they're all good, but that one in particular, like, you can watch it on YouTube. It's god damn, it's fucking impressive.
Simple Man's a song that always stops me and I'll turn up.
Yeah.
That's a damn good song. But yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan, that motherfucker. Oh yeah, he was good.
Yeah. What else we got?
The Z06.
Never heard of her.
David D, because I'm not going to butcher your last fucking name. What are your thoughts on the new Z06 and Chevy putting the world on notice? And we talked about the Z06 a little bit last week. So I'll get more in depth into it after really reading some of the stuff today, just to make you guys that keep asking about it feel good. So let me get over to that.
Reading some stats on it.
Not really, because believe it or not, Chevy hasn't put out any stats, which I 100% believe because. So,
refill.
Yeah, no, you're good. So Chevrolet's big thing is they're running it against the 458 Speciale and the GT2 RS. So I'm going to look up the stats of those cars real quick.
I have it pulled up, the all new 2023 Corvette Z06. It's said to produce 670 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, and 1.22 Gs of lateral G-force. I don't know how the fuck, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
G-forces are pretty important when you're in a car. It tells you how much grip the car can handle with G-forces.
Yeah, that matters for tracking a car.
Yeah, so they're comparing it, saying it's going to be up there with the 458 Speciale on the Nürburgring or the GT2 RS. So I'm going to give you some numbers here for you Chevy freaks. The GT2 RS ring time, 6 minutes, 43.3 seconds at the Nürburgring. So I'm going to look up the Ferrari Speciale next.
That's what I'm looking up.
You're looking that one up?
See if I beat you to it. 738.
So you're saying
a minute. There's a minute of flop there.
Yeah. I'm going to be competing against these two cars. Which one?
Which, you guys have heard us talk about the Nürburgring a lot on here. Mm-hmm. A minute of time on that is marked by a fucking calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's a lot.
Especially a 738 at this point, the fucking the Audi RSQ8 goes almost that fast. Mm-hmm. The Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT Coupe actually goes faster than that as a 736. And that's a fucking SUV. Now, yes, the GT2 RS, I don't see the Z06 going that fast. My take on it very simply is I don't know. The verdict is still out. It looks like it's probably a good car. How good? I don't know until they actually put rubber to the road and see what it's all about. I'm very underwhelmed with the regular C08. I think, for their first mid-engine car, it's okay. But, a naturally aspirated engine that goes to 6K and has less than 500 horsepower is probably a fun day track car, but for out and about street driving, that thing gets clowned by a lot that it shouldn't, for what it is and what it's supposed to be and all that. So, to me, the Z06 is probably going to be similar to the 488 GTB, more so than either the 458 or the GT2. Mm-hmm. Similar horsepower, similar aero, similar weight. One's turboed, one's not, but the other one revs higher, so I think it balances it out. That's my guess. It's probably in that range. Now, can it go faster than 717? Probably, with technology and dampened suspension and all that shit. And much better tires. It'll probably go lower than that. How much lower? I don't know. Does it say what the C8 time is? Did they do it?
I don't know if they've done it, but I can tell you that my X5M competition caught and outran a C8 on the highway the other day with 4 people in there leaving dinner at Albernays. So we were all fat and happy and outrunning C8s. The C8 to me, I think Chevrolet missed their mark.
Yeah. So at the risk of interrupting, which I obviously just did, 729.9, 730 is what the C8 did.
So it's close to the 458.
Yeah.
Speciale.
It's closer to the 458 than it is the 488.
Yeah. I could see them getting closer to the 488. The hopes and dreams of you guys that are Chevy fans thinking that car is going to get up to a GT2 RS. I hate to tell you, Porsche has no plans to make a GT2 RS right now because they don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't need to. Their Turbo S is faster in a straight line. The GT3 and GT3 RS around that ring are kicking the shit out of everybody, so they have nothing else to prove. So you're going after those cars. You should probably try to go after the 718 Cayman GT4 before you go after their big cars. Now, I will give Chevrolet props, and the car I want to see, and we've both been saying it over and over, is the ZR1. Now, when the ZR1 comes out, I think they will have a contender But until then, the Z06 to me is just a body kit and a nice revving engine that sounds a lot closer to an exotic than the other cars have. The thing I hate, and this is what's pissed me off, and it's not just Chevrolet at this point, it's a lot of the cars in the era we're living in. They're claiming they're building this as a supercar for the everyday man that the majority of people can afford. While, yes, that is true, to me it's still not a supercar, but to some people it is, and I'll give them that. But what the dealers are doing to me, or to the consumer, is the markups are close to 50 grand, and I guarantee the markups on the Z06 are going to be closer to 80 to 100 grand. To me, that's, you just took something that, if Chevrolet wants to do that, let the consumer buy it directly from you than these fucking dealerships ripping people off.
Yeah.
Let them buy directly from you, set up Allied financing or GMAC financing, let them buy it directly through you without this dealer bullshit. Then you've accomplished your goal to putting out more cars that every man can afford.
Yeah.
And I think Ford should do that with the Shelby GT500 too. These dealerships are screwing people over,
Yeah.
and not helping the everyday guy that could afford a supercar.
Yeah, if that's your goal, then do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's your tagline, this is the car for X, then help X out by not allowing shit like that to happen. Here's a couple of really important stats. Since we compared the 488, because it's a faster time than the C8.
Mm-hmm.
The 488 GTB, right? The Nürburgring time is actually 7:21, not 7:17. Still, 9 seconds faster than the C8. The 488 GTB first production year was 2015, right? And the C8 is 2020, which means, we'll just take it production year-wise, because obviously the 2-3 years prior is when it was being developed, but same thing with the C8. So you're talking about 5 years later, right? The brand new mid-engine Corvette that's going to compete with the Euro trash cars, right? 5 years goes by, which in car technology, especially in the last 30 years, is a fucking eternity, is that it's still 9 seconds slower on the Nürburgring. So, and that's what you're kind of comparing it to. So, horsepower wise, it's going to be pretty comparable. Weight wise, it's going to be pretty comparable. So, I don't see it doing that much better. I mean, my guess is probably with tires and suspension technology, hopefully being a little better, maybe in the 715 to 710, 710, 715 maybe. I don't know, but there's no way with that horsepower and comparing it off of the model that it's built off of, that it's going to be this, game-changing 642. Like you're telling me that from the base C8 to the C8 Z06, you're going to drop 50 fucking seconds?
It's not going to happen.
That's not happening. I mean, it's just 100% that is not happening.
No. The respectable car that I will say, I'll even argue for Chevrolet on this, the 2019 ZR1 Corvette was 100% a supercar.
Yeah, it was a 704.
Yeah, 704, that's the Pista time, isn't it?
7 flat is the Pista.
Yeah, which to me, I think Chevrolet's closest to getting into supercar numbers is the ZR1. Now, many people don't realize this. The Z06, the C7 Z06 could not outrun the original ZR1 that they built.
Yeah.
Why? Because it would fuck with the collectability of that car.
Yeah.
So you think they're going to take a naturally aspirated Z06, new body style, and outrun one of their track record cars?
Yeah.
Fuck no, they're not going to do that. They're going to tease the shit out of you with it, and I do love they added carbon ceramics as an option. Yeah. But it's not going to be there yet.
Yeah, and I will say that, agreed, the ZR1, the C7 ZR1, especially I think they have the 1LE package, the track package with carbon rims and wing and stiffer suspension and exhaust and all that shit, is the one that did the 704, which, again, the piece of time is supposed to be 7, or it is 7, but, again, they were using older tires that if they had to put Sport Cup 2Rs on there, you probably would have been like a 650 or even low 650s. But either way, I can tell you from both personal experience several times roll racing against ZR1s, in conjunction with just looking at any draggy data that you can look up. the Pista is consistently a second or even a little more faster in a 60 to 130 time than the ZR1 is. And I can tell you it's absolutely verified out in town on a number of occasions. So it's a good car, but it still falls short. Just plain and simple, it does.
But for the money, that car.
I mean, shit, if you can find one for $200,000 now, I mean.
And so I got a friend, and if you're watching this, David, you're a fucking idiot. So I told this buddy of mine, he's been wanting, you met him, Austin, the little kid, when the umpire told him, you're going to hurt your balls. And he said, they ain't dropped yet, huh?
Yeah. His dad.
Yeah. Austin's been on the channel, but the dad has been asking me, he's a bigger guy, and he's like, what's a good supercar for me? I've told him over and over, if you want a car you can drive, put miles on, and you're going to make money in 5 years, get a ZR1 Corvette. Yeah. This was a year and a half ago. I could have got a ZR1 Corvette for about $140,000 then. Yeah. You're not touching one of those bitches for $175,000, $200,000 right now.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about the collectability of that car. It's a damn good front engine fucking car.
Yeah.
I think Chevrolet fucked up going mid-engine.
Thank you.
I think they should have stuck with what the fuck they're good at. And people saying they needed to change. No, they didn't. They built this car that went 704 in America in a shithole town, no offense, Bowling Green, Kentucky, to compete with the Italians. And they did a damn good fucking job at it, if you ask me. The interior was shit. Some of the body lines were shit, but the car, engine, mechanically, everything else about it was fucking dead on, and they should have stuck with a front engine fucking car. Now that they went rear mid, they need to go back to the superchargers, and they need to step up to turbochargers. I love that they're sticking with V8s. Stick a fucking supercharger in there, and if Chevrolet engineers come out and say, well, it can't be done, Whipple already did it, bitch.
Yeah. So as you're talking, I just pulled up the top three that come up. 2019 ZR1, 2,800 miles, $200,000. There's a 2019 Caution Orange one with 3,500 miles, 179. The brand new one with 4 miles on it, 250,000.
Yeah.
Right. So like these things are now getting up into that same territory where like you're spending a lot of fucking money on a car. And I agree wholeheartedly. I heard you chiming in, Brohan, that, amen on the not moving to mid-engine. I agree. I view it kind of like females with special forces. Bear with me for a second. I am going to make this bridge. Is that I don't think women should be SEALs or Rangers or Green Berets. I think they should have their own unit. I think Chevy should have made the C8 and just called it something else, just came out with a new model and kept making a front engine Corvette based off of that same platform, and it was obviously better than what's replacing it. I mean, the C7 is a better car than the C8. I mean, in every way.
Looks wise, 100%.
In every way, performance, it's not even fucking close.
No.
And I mean, looks, is subjective, but I agree. Like when I see a C8, it looks like a cheap imitation of a Ferrari. It looks like a Ferrari kit car.
Yeah.
That somebody didn't do a very good job putting together. Whereas this looks really fucking classy.
Yeah.
Especially, this month, the one with 4 miles on it, like it's a ZR1 3ZR package. Like, look at that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'd rock the shit out of that.
And that's a bad bitch.
For those of y'all thinking that I hate Chevrolet, I had a C7 with 1,200 horsepower. So I loved the car. There were 2 things I hated about that fucking car. 2 fucking things. Well, I could go into more, but the main 2 things, the infotainment center was ass, which Chevrolet, GM products have been for fucking years, unless they're in the Cadillac. They were ass. They should have done the interior that they put in the CTSV into the fucking Corvette for the money. And that would be my 2 complaints, the seats in the infotainment center. If they would have took the CTSV designers and said, hey, we let Chevrolet design everything else, but they're fucking dumbasses when it comes to infotainment and interior, make this bitch luxury inside. And I think you would have had a winning combination right there that would have fucking sold like hotcakes. Instead, you got the C8 that looks like fucking, like you said, a cheap fucking Ferrari body kit. And that's what it is. The guy that helped design the 458.
Yeah. But it's just they didn't put...
They didn't let him have his way either.
Well, I think it's just a materials thing. Yeah. Is that, hey, we want this to cost, sub 6 figures, so make that happen. It's like, it's like trying to imitate a fucking $30,000 wedding dress with some shit you pull from Hobby Lobby. Like, it's just not going to look the same.
No, it's not.
Why am I using wedding dress references? I don't know.
I mean, I could go into that same thing. Someone yesterday, we picked up my wife's, she got a new purse. And I never bitch about it because she buys new purses and she sells them. And the one she buys, I can't bitch because the money I spend in cars. But the ones she buys are high-end purses. But she sells them and makes fucking money off of them. And her aunt asked me, why are they so expensive? So I pulled my wallet out because it's the same brand. And I showed her the quality. I said, this is quality. I said, you go take one that you bought 5 other times, you end up at this price. This one still looks new. These 5 are shit because you've had them for a year. I said, quality matters. And it's the same thing with the interior. Fuck, look at Manny Koshman, who's fucking using Airmaze to make his fucking interiors of his hypercars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I could see a purse or a fucking wedding dress, cheap shit like that, trying to imitate it. You can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So that's my rant on Chevrolet. Fuck them right now. But the new GMC Denali AT4 and Denali X, I sent you those, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Those bitches are bad. If they'd step up their car interiors, their SUV interiors to look like that new fucking truck, fuck. Those motherfuckers would step up, but instead they're too busy trying to shove all their shit in the ass end of a fucking car and keep up with the Germans and Italians. Fucking assholes.
I mean, all murdered out black. That thing's a bad motherfucker.
Dude, that bitch.
See if you can see that. You probably can't see that shit.
No, we can.
I have looked at the new ZR1 almost every time I've been in the midst of buying a new car. I look at them, and the only thing that stops me is I know what I could have bought one for a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Now you're paying $100,000 fucking rarity tax.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's a great car, and everybody who asks me what's a good starter fucking supercar, if you want the best of both worlds, it's cheap to mod, and it's gonna sound ridiculous when it pulls up. Fucking C7 ZR1.
At this point, I'd probably do a GT 500 though, with what these cost.
Oh yeah, 100%, because you're in the $200,000 range.
Yeah.
The only thing that stops me from a GT 500, I was looking at them here recently, and I went another way. The GT 500, it pisses me off that a dealer will take a car, and it's like they transfer it to their buddy's Ford dealership, so it's now used.
Yeah.
And they mark the bitch up $50,000.
Yeah.
Bitch, it's not a collectible car.
Yeah.
The GT 500 is not fucking collectible at all.
Yeah. The cheapest one I've found is a 2019 orange one for $180.
Is that at Chicago?
Atlanta.
Yeah, it's probably stolen.
Yeah, damn, that's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a fucking Corvette. $250,000 for a fucking Corvette now.
Do you know why? Because the real collectors of the fucking Corvettes aren't touching these C8s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't want no part of that shit. The guys you see the guys we talk shit about, no bullshit, but I still give mad respect for, because I put Corvette guys up there with Ferrari and Porsche guys. Lamborghini guys are just fucking posers. No offense to all you Lamborghini guys that do listen. You're trying to catch up to the Fords and the Corvette guys, the Ferrari guys, and the Porsche guys, who these guys, no shit, will wear Corvette shoes, put on Corvette underwear, Corvette socks.
How do you know they're wearing Corvette underwear?
Because I had to have one stripped down once.
Let me see it.
Yeah. But I mean, the Porsche and Ferrari guys were the same fucking way. And you could always tell the loyalists were those guys.
Yeah.
You know, you look over and it's usually an older guy. He's got his Corvette hat on, his fucking pin. You see that dude out and about, not driving his Corvette, somewhere on him he's got some shit that says Corvette.
Fucking wallet, something.
Yeah, something on that, and probably his underwear again.
Yeah.
That's the color I had.
Yeah, that's fucking nice.
Yeah, mine was 1,200 horsepower, but mine wasn't a convertible because those are stupid.
Yeah, to me, a convertible, I just don't see the point in having a supercar that's a convertible. For if you want to drive it.
No, not if you want to put it through hell. Because here's the thing, and just hear me for a quick second on that color. I love that color. It's Le Mans blue, I think.
I think it's enema blue.
Enema, in her blue. Here's my reasoning. The way we drive cars, if something were to ever happen, and we had a rollover, and I'm in a convertible.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and not saying we're not safe, because we are, but strange shit can happen.
Shit happens.
I mean, something could come loose, or someone could fucking get over when you're getting over.
Yeah.
Someone could speed up and you weren't expecting it. You know, just something could happen. I do not want to be in a convertible if that were to ever happen.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah.
But that's my rant on fucking Chevrolet. Fuck them hoes.
Fuck them hoes.
Them bitches.
Is that the last question?
That was the last question. The only other thing I have is New York and their stupid law. New York put out a $1,000 fine for loud exhaust. Here's my fucking rebuttal to New York. You're fucking stupid. There's an electric car outrunning everybody that has no exhaust. So fuck off. You're not going to stop street racing.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's even what it's about, or it's just like it makes them feel better about being assholes. I mean, to me, it's the same thing as California, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, go figure. California and New York just, basically finding a way to piss people off, like just manufacturing stupid things to think of to be a pain in everybody's ass. I mean, California saying if your car is modified, tuned at all, you can't pass the smog inspection. Similarly, like there are a lot of tunes that actually make the cars run more efficient. Why would you penalize people for that? And with the exhaust thing too, it's like, oh, if you have a modified exhaust, we're going to fine you. It's just like, it's all those little things that just erode and continue to erode people's feelings of being free and feeling like you live in a society based off of liberty, which we really don't anymore. It's a fucking disturbing fact. But Bro Han, what do you got?
Fuck you, New York.
About the exhausts?
Anything.
About anything. Well, I have one question about it's more about like kind of the law that we were just talking about. When it comes to these modified cars, is it just, and I know a little bit about this, what's your definition of a tune? Is a tune just the electrical component, like the programming component to it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's just changing the parameters in the ECU from stock to something else.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like when you add like a whole bunch of shit to it too.
Well, a lot of times you have to add the tune to add a whole bunch of shit to it.
Oh, okay. Got it. That's just
a lot of times, like if you get an exhaust, you have to also tune because the stock ECU is accommodating for a certain level of catalytic converter, impedance or certain fuel air ratio mixes or whatever. But like in the case of both of our Turbo S's, yours doesn't have to be tuned yet, right?
No, it hadn't had.
The exhaust, it'd have to get a tune, but
yeah, mine had to be tuned because of what I took off already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So mine has just a tune. There's nothing else done to the car whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then mine had to be because mine's stock.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
So I'm getting new rims put on my shit tomorrow, which we got to put those air filters in.
Yeah, that showed me the new rims. They look sick. Those new rims look fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You doing it at the house?
Yeah, they're coming too. Yeah. Same group that you use.
Yeah, I'll bring some shit over and get it done. I know how to do it now. What else? That's it. You got anything?
Just thank you to you guys. No bullshit, man. Appreciate you tuning in. I love to see the live chat questions and comments and the listenership. We wouldn't do this if you guys didn't give enough of a shit for enough people to listen to make it worth doing. Unfuck America comes out in a couple weeks too. So
yeah,
check that shit out.
That's gonna be good times.
Also, the person that I said that I talk too much and my laugh sounds like a fucking dying mule. Fuck you.
Don't take it personal. Yeah. Don't read the comments.
Yeah. If you get into reading these people's comments and hate, you're fucked.
No, he seemed nice about it though. He was like, "I'll go choke myself now." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a pretty good idea."
No, that was respect to Mike. He still doesn't like you at all.
Yeah. I don't care if he likes me or not.
You can't. I don't give a shit who you are, what you do, what you say. There's going to be people that disagree with you or think you're a fucking idiot or whatever. I mean, there's one piece of advice in the comment section that I can give you is, I'm not saying ignore them, but just take everything with a grain of salt, have thick skin, and don't let them get under it because it's just, you're just wasting your time if you get pissed off.
I like the one guy was like, so I was looking at something on yours and I seen the comments. I was like, hey, that motherfucker just commenting on ours. And I was looking and he was like, new studio's great, but you look like you're looking over the people, and I'm like, this fucking dude. And then I go read what he wrote on ours. It looks like y'all spent all the money on mic drop. We did, bitch. And here's why. 108,000 subs to 34,000. Fuck off. No, but we're slowly adjusting this, and
I mean, it's all a work in progress. I mean, even the mic drop studio is quite different than when I first started it here. You know, and I put the resources that I think it needs to look the way that it is.
Yeah.
Even with that, right? I mean, there were people that in the old studio that would say, oh, you know, the cameras suck, or like, you know, get a bigger studio or whatever. And then you get a bigger studio and there's people like, it looks like, you know, it's Tonight Show and you're talking down on people. And there's other people that are like, fuck, it's awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Can't make everybody.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, I don't give a fuck what you do. There's going to be people that think it's dumb or that it sucks or that you should change it or whatever. But, you know, ultimately I do what I think makes the most sense. And I like the way that it's set up. And so that's how it is for now. Now,
well, for both shows, simply read this.
Yeah, we do what we want.
We do what we want. Yeah.
Look at that. In carbon fiber, no less.
I love that fucking sound.
But anyway.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else?
That's it.
Check us out on Patreon. That's where all the questions came from today. Patreon. We have Patreon for UnInfluenced Mic Drop. Also, go check out Team Dog for your shirts, your dog food, shit, training needs, anything you need. Check out Team Dog. And what else? Oh, Bonfire if you want some shirts. We're shipping out shirts. I don't have one on today because mine look like fat guy in a little coat. Peace, bitches.